bad movie Beatdown. Today we're revisiting one of my earlier and more shameful reviews, The Fast and the Furious. The Fast and the Furious is one of my least favourite reviews, which is partly because the source material is so incredibly dull. That and the fact that I don't think I'm very good in it. Jesus, was my hair really that long? For those who don't remember the movie, the plot goes something like this. Undercover cop Brian, played by Paul Walker, is sent to investigate a group of street racers who have been stealing expensive electronics to pay for upgrades to their cars. The gang is led by Vin Diesel's Toretto, whom Brian becomes friends with, as well as falling for Toretto's sister, played by Jordana What's-Her-Face. Brian is caught between two worlds, and at the conclusion of the film, he gives Toretto the keys to his car, helping him escape to Mexico. It also had a number of subplots that were clearly left open for a sequel. This brings us to 2003's Too Fast, Too Furious, which may be the stupidest title for any movie featured on this show, including Transmorphers. This is the first of 4 sequels the series has had to date, including Fast 5, which this review is sickly timed to coincide with. In this sequel, the only original cast member to return is Paul Walker, since Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana What's-Her-Face all had better things to do until their careers crashed and burned. Rob Cohen, who directed the original, is not back either, because he and Diesel were working on the enormously stupid James Bond ripoff Triple X. Taking Cohen's place is John Singleton? How the hell does one go from Boys in the Hood to Too Fast, Too Furious? What a sellout! The DVD gives you an option of watching a prelude that is meant to bridge between the two films. This is one of the most stunningly pointless DVD extras ever. It's basically 6 minutes of Paul Walker driving and swapping cars that is completely dialogue free. It explains absolutely nothing that you wouldn't have worked out by yourself and just puts you in a bad mood before you even start. Oh, and why does Brian have a red car at the start of the prelude? He gave his only car to Toretto. I think we're in for a good review tonight, folks. I haven't even started the movie and I'm pissed off. So let's get right to it. We start with one of the dumbest logo modifications I've ever seen. We're not even out of the studio logo yet and already I think this is going to be stupid. I think that's some sort of record. This sequel has moved to Miami, where we get everything I hated about the first. Cars and objectified women set to hip-hop songs about being a pimp. I expected something just a little bit more dignified from someone once nominated for an Oscar. The race is being run by Tej, played by Ludacris, who is named after his hair, and they need a 4th racer. Tej gives Brian, played once again by Paul Walker, a call. Nice and conspicuous vehicle you got there, Brian. If I was passed for countrywide manhunt, I don't think I'd be riding around in a glow-in-the-dark blueberry.
There's our boy right there.
Shit, it's Brian.
Shit, I act worse than I look. So our posing prick arrives and we can get down to the racing. Brian is not the only one to have giant neon lights fitted in his car. All the other cars are neon lit for your convenience. Wouldn't it be kind of distracting to drive around in a glow-in-the-dark tanning booth? Who was their mechanic, Joel Schumacher?
You think you're gonna win, baby?
What you think?
You better, we got rent to pay.
I know this.
Hey, one of these racers looks familiar.
I got lung cancer and I needed a double lobe transplant.
Damn it! That movie will haunt me forever. The other prominent character in this race is Suki, played by Devon Aoki, who is meant to be a tough gal, which is why she rides around in a pink Barbie mobile and spends most of the race in last. Lady, you can growl all you want, but at the end of the day, you're still shit. And if you're in this movie for the cars, then prepare to be disappointed, because most of the racing is seen with CGI shots with dodgy physics. Say what you will about the first movie, and believe me, I did, but at least the cars were actually racing in that film. I feel like I'm watching someone else play Need for Speed Underground than a real street race. How long is this bloody race? They're driving down half the bloody city. I thought they only did a 1/4 mile. It gets so ridiculous that they even have people hijack a drawbridge so it can be used as a ramp. Hello, police, authorities, anyone gonna stop this? Any pretense of The Fast and the Furious being an accurate depiction of street racing has officially gone out the window. I don't think I've seen physics abused this bad. This is driven. It's only the second movie and officially it's become a cartoon, and I very much doubt the drivers will be cool with Tej doing that bridge stunt as it pretty much destroys their very expensive custom cars. Hell, the 35 grand from winning the race will probably go towards fixing the car! Brian wins the race without even a scratch of damage! Oh right, he has to be perfect because he's the hero. Also, Suki finishes second in a busted up ride.
Hey, make sure you bring that body by the garage later, alright? So, you know, we can work on that front end of yours.
Innuendo! Brian spots Monica, played by Mendes, who looks like Medusa with that hairdo. But soon the cops arrive and everyone has to hightail it out of there. Brian tries to escape in his blueberry, but the FBI fire a ridiculous EMT claw that shuts down the car. Apparently because road spikes aren't cinematic enough. So Brian is taken in by the FBI, including James Remar's agent Markham. So that's where Casey's father and the unborn went. They want Brian and another racer to go undercover to investigate a drug smuggler named Verone, played by Hauser, and they will wipe Brian's record clean in exchange. Brian agrees, but only if he gets to pick the driver. We need someone like Vin Diesel, but hipper with more attitude. Enter Roman Pierce, played by Tyrese Gibson, whom they track down to a demolition derby. Actually, is this a demolition derby? I might have switched moves with Death Race.
That's it, get the fuck out of my car!
Too Fast, Too Furious is probably the most homoerotic action movie since Top Gun. Check out those meaningful stares and Paul Walker's effeminate features. And how else do you explain the fact that the first thing they do when they meet up again is to start wrestling on the desert floor?
Still fight like shit! Oh. You better chill!
I mean, for a minute there, it looked like they were going to get rough and nasty on the desert floor right there.
So you're gonna clean my record and get this thing off my...
That's right. I thought you couldn't wander more than 100 yards from your home.
Why you think I'm parked so close to the Derby?
I'm pretty sure a tracking bracelet doesn't really work when the guy lives in a motorhome. Roman accepts, but has his doubts.
I don't know if I should be trusting you, man.
Just think of it this way, it's an opportunity for a fresh start. Now let's just go do this, all right?
I wouldn't need a fresh start if it wasn't for you.
And you need to stop blaming me for your every mistake. And Roman Pierce needs to start taking responsibility for his own actions.
You need to go to hell.
And you need to go back to Barstow.
You're like an old married couple. Now kiss and make up. The pair are introduced to Monica, who has been undercover with Verone for roughly a year. They're also introduced to their cars, which is the only thing they seem more excited about than each other. Verone is looking for drivers, and so the pair have to compete against several other drivers to work with Verone. The audition is to get Verone's impounded red Ferrari, which has something provocative in the glove box. First to get there wins. This is basically an excuse for something that seems close to a street race, but isn't, because it will distract the audience from the fact that it isn't even about street racing anymore. By the way, most of the action on this sequence takes place on a packed freeway, which is so very inconspicuous when you're trying to work for a drug smuggler.
I've got him heading south on I-95.
Yeah, I got it. They're running. What a surprise.
Did you ever stop to think that maybe this is part of their undercover? You know they're auditioning. That's why you gave them the cars, you idiots! The other drivers mostly serve to crash into things. That nobody probably died. Who cares? He was probably bad anyway. Instead, the movie focuses on Brian and Roman wiggling their surrogate penises.
Alright, Rome, I got something for your ass.
I bet you do, dog. Brian then shows his penis is better because he can drive in high-speed reverse, which I doubt you can really do without firmly screwing up your gearbox.
That's the Brian O'Connor school of driving right there, baby!
I mean, it's not like your target audience is a bunch of petrolheads who will call you out on this bullshit. Oh, wait. And speaking of bullshit, Brian crashes through a stop sign which would dent the front of his car. Except it doesn't. I guess Brian has those car healing abilities from the first one. They find the car and retrieve the item from the glove box.
Now put your blouse back on.
Hater.
Do I even have to write jokes about this? The movie makes it so easy! Markham arrives and Rome does the intensely stupid thing and starts firing at the police car.
Son of a bitch!
You're on their side, you moron! Stop firing at him! Besides that little snag, they managed to get the item back to Verone.
What you checking her out for?
I'm not checking her out.
Rome's clearly jealous that Brian is being led astray by a woman. They've got the job provided Rome stops acting like an idiot.
Hey, you. Pockets aren't empty.
Damn.
I'll take my cutter back.
Hey, man, I figured you had like 12 or 13 of these.
Just get out of here.
That's a really smart move, isn't it? Stealing things from a drug smuggler. Between this and firing at cops, I think Rome wants to get himself killed. And of course, what better time for them to go to Tej's garage to get their cars looked at? Oh, and lots of wet, scantily clad women. If we fill the movie with enough of these shots, hopefully people will miss the macho subtext. They also discover that their cars are bugged. Really? Do you think they give criminals free cars? Don't act so surprised. Rome also deals with Verone's men who are following them in his own subtle style.
Alien infidel. ¿Qué pasa, Jota? Hey, man, I clean your windshield for you? Uno, tres, cuatro, foto, taco? Everything copacetic, homie?
Kiss my ass, puto.
The feds, Verone, is there anyone that Roman isn't trying to piss off? They decide to organise a tag team street race with the other two drivers who competed for a place with Verone, and the loser trades cars. And I hope you enjoy this because this is the second of 2 actual street races in the entire film. The car racing scenes feel very tacked on onto a generic action plot. It seems less like the Fast and the Furious and more like a particularly stupid episode of Miami Vice. Or the average episode of CSI Miami. This series was originally about street racing, but as it progressed it became less and less about that. You look at the trailer for the 5th movie, and it's just a heist film that just happens to have cars in it. The series has moved from being about people with cars to people who just happen to have cars, and there's a very distinct difference. Rome nearly cost them the cars, but Brian manages to finish first, having gone so fast he entered the CGI zone. Of course, this race is tension-free because we know they have to win, otherwise the plot won't move forward. Rome and Brian visit Verone at a club. In a back room, they torture the corrupt cop from Batman Begins who plays, surprise, surprise, a corrupt cop. They torture him by putting a rat inside a bucket and heating it.
You're in charge of the units that are watching my properties, huh? What I want is I want a 15-minute window where everybody, and I mean everybody, disappears. You hear me? What? I can't do it! Shut him up. Shut him up. Do what? Say it.
I swear to God. Swear to me!
The following morning, Monica tells Brian that Verone plans to kill them both after they finish his mission, and there's a fight scene with Verone's men. If you're watching the movie, this is the ideal point for a piss break. They organise a plan with Tej that will hopefully solve both the cop and the Verone problem. The following day they start on Verone's job, which is basically deliver money from his deals to him, which has been hidden in his trailer park. But the cop from Batman Begins grows a conscience and alerts the police, making them track the pair. It's a good thing that Verone uses 2 people in very brightly coloured sports cars. It makes them impossible to spot. As the police do their best reenactment of the Blues Brothers, the police helicopter fires the EMP claw into Brian's car. The claw isn't fully in the car, so there's a contrived scene where Brian hangs out of the car as it slows down while he tries to pull it out. If the claw is slowing him down, how is he outrunning Rome and the police cars? Oh right, these claw things don't make any sense, so why should they start now? They speed off course to the place Tej showed them. They drive in and swap cars while tens of cars pour out and disperse the cops, helping them escape. How many of these bloody street races did they manage to find? It's a good thing that Tej had a Hollywood stunt team on call. The police track down the cars Rome and Brian were in originally, which are being driven by Suki and Tej. Didn't see that one coming from a mile off. Oh shit, I did a pun.
You lost him? Those little pricks are running.
It's your call. What do you want to do?
We're gonna take him down. He is not leaving here.
Is that your go-to response for everything? Oh shit, they're running! Help! One last thing that Brian and Rome need to remove are their passengers, Rome's henchmen.
So what you doing, man?
Eject a seat? You're joking.
I never joke about my work, 007.
It's probably a good thing that Markham decided to go crazy because he discovers that Verone is not actually at the airfield. Instead, he went to the dock. Verone reveals that he knew Monica has betrayed him and takes her hostage by bringing her on the boat. Ah yes, a boat. The fastest and most furious form of transportation. Didn't you see Speed 2 Cruise Control? As they're about to kill Brian, Roman appears and defeats the goon. He's getting away slowly in that boat! Rome and Brian race to their car and speed up to catch the boat. That's right, the car has to go in excess of 120 miles per hour to catch up to a boat that isn't probably doing half of that. You'd think that people who make movies about cars would know that a car goes faster than a boat. The car jumps through the air and crashes into the boat, and in one of the lamest climaxes I've ever seen, Brian shoots Rowan in the shoulder before Monica arrests him. And what happened to the henchman who took Monica downstairs in the first place? He was never seen again. Bye! Unless he was horribly crushed. Ooh. I mean, what a lame climax! The good guys don't even get out of their car to shoot him! It's like they blew their money on that one jump and then had to wrap it up as quickly as possible. Customs and the FBI arrive on the scene.
So, there were 3 bags total, huh? The 3 from the boat.
So we good, right? Our record's clean?
You held up your end. Your records are clean.
Yeah, you boys did good, and maybe I should have trusted you, and oh shit, they're running! They're running! Shoot to kill! Shoot to kill!
Don't drop the soap, big homie.
I hope you know that when he gets out, he's gonna kill your ass.
He ain't getting out.
I'll see you soon.
No, we won't, because you're a sucky villain. Don't come back. What's also interesting is that Brian doesn't properly get the girl, which makes sense because they've barely been together throughout most of the movie. Well, that and the fact that Brian is in love with Rome, of course. And it's revealed that they've stolen some of the drug money. Maybe they can get themselves a condo next to Woody Harrelson. We close on animated credits that are only slightly faker than the CGI cars used in the movie. Too Fast, Too Furious is too lame and too stupid to be enjoyable. It's clear that this was a script that was hastily written to cash in on the first film and is extremely limited by the fact that almost none of the cast return. It already has barely anything to do with street racing by this point. It uses CGI cars instead of the real thing. It's so dipped in neon, I thought I was watching Batman Forever. Paul Walker is his usual unbelievably bland self, and Tyrese Gibson is an irritating and inadequate replacement for Vin Diesel. The only humour this movie has is the macho subtext, which the movie lays on so much I'm almost convinced the filmmakers did it intentionally. At least that makes it more enjoyable to watch than its predecessor. Please, people, for God's sake, don't go and see Fast 5. Vin Diesel was already threatening a 6th movie. I mean, they've made the same movie 5 times, and it wasn't even that good to begin with. I'm Matthew Buck, beating down bad movies everywhere.